Do you know what? I'm not even going to grace this film with an opening quote. Welcome back to the Millionth Show. My name is James, joined once again by Henry and Tom. And today we're doing
The much
possibly,
beloved.
maybe the worst film I've ever seen. I would go that far. This was really bad, man. My expectations were low, but holy shit, man, this is this is really bad.
I mean, I think it was bad, but I don't think this gets the depths of Batman and Robin, because this didn't kill the Bond franchise, even though it tried.
No, this is worse than Batman and Robin. You know what? Well, obviously, we're talking about Casino Royale, the original Casino Royale, released in 1967, and this is obviously not an official Bond film. This is actually actually officially a comedy. This is a comedy genre film.
Yeah.
This is a parody. So, but I don't think that means it can escape. The fucking. The problem with this film, straight away, what I'm noticing, it doesn't even have the most basic element of any story, whether it be the Lord of the Rings trilogy or it be a children's Mr. Men fairy tale book, whatever. Right? You need a beginning, a middle, and an end. This film doesn't even have that. Doesn't even have that. I don't know where to start. I don't know what is going on.
We know.
I have a page full of notes here, and it just doesn't make sense. It's like, what happened?
You could do a Zack Snyder Justice League, sort of split the film into 5 chapters, one for each director. Because I mean, the filming of this was absolute hell on earth. There's such a thing as production hell. I think this thing went to the production nether or some shit. Because I mean, yeah, it went through that many directors. There are parts
where it went through 6 directors, didn't it? I looked it up. 6.
Oh, never mind. We lost another one. But and you can clearly tell where one director ended and another began at some points.
Yeah.
Where it's near the ends of the film, sometimes actors will literally just literally take a door, walk out because their contract has just ended.
I looked on IMDb and it said, I was looking at the directors and it's okay, X director for Y and Z scenes, and then B director for C and D scenes. It's what happened? Can you give me a little bit of context? Because just to be clear, I watched this film yesterday for the very first time in my life, and I was well prepared to go to the grave without seeing this. But here we are. This is the Millionth Show, the same show where I've had to watch Catwoman, and I had to watch Batman and Robin, and I had to rewatch Zack Snyder's Justice League. Not that it's a bad film, but it is 4 hours.
Yeah, to rewatch Jigsaw.
Actually, I didn't mind rewatching Jigsaw, but I didn't remember how bad it was, so it was worse than I remember. This was worse than I expected, and I had no expectations, Yeah, and Tom, sorry, because Tom hasn't spoken yet. You and Henry had seen this before, right?
Yeah, we saw a review of it on one of the other Bond channels, and I thought, wow, this looks like it will be it won't disappoint, at least in terms of what we're expecting. But for me, the film's like how I'd imagine an acid trip to be without the acid. But it's just, yeah, that's how I describe it. But you can't accuse the film. I don't know. The film can't be boring if it's too confusing to watch. So it is terrible. But yeah.
I mean, you
can't accuse it of being boring at the very least.
I mean, for those watching on YouTube, this is a real screen cap of the film behind me.
I couldn't believe it
when I saw that touches down in London.
I was watching this happen, and I don't know. I just couldn't wait for it to be over. I could not wait for it to be over. I was checking the time every 5 minutes. I was like, "When's it done? When's it done, man?"
If I'm being honest,
it's so long as well. It was more than 2 hours.
11, yeah.
What the fuck did they do at that time?
No, this is the thing. I think the first half hour and the last half hour are the worst parts of the film. In the McTarry Castle, where they go on about this bit in Scotland, where they have all these funny traditions and all this.
It's funny how Emma's Scottish in that as well.
By the way, I think I should add as well, just because this isn't going to be a long episode. What we're going to do, we're abandoning our usual format of
just like they abandoned the usual
film. We're just going to talk about it generally, stuff we want to talk about, but we're not going to waste anyone's time except our own, a little bit, but not more than necessary. Yeah. So because that part in Scotland where, I mean, first of all, you meet M, who's got like the worst fake moustache I've ever seen, right? And he's Scottish, and he's younger than Bond. And then it's like, okay,
Well, it
this
makes
is
sense
Bond,
in this
you're in
case.
Bond's house, and then they go to this Scottish like Skyfall before Skyfall.
Yeah, exactly.
And because
maybe Skyfall's probably
M
this.
dies, his wig flies off, and then they bring it in a box to his widow, his grieving widow, and 11 18-year-old daughters,
It's like,
right?
oh, it's a heirloom.
Yeah, man. And it's like, and then it's like, oh, we sacrifice a goat carried by 6 barefoot virgins. Like what is going on, mate? Like.
I mean, like,
It's probably what
to
they
be
do
fair,
in Scotland. To be fair,
with this Bond, I mean, I think the original plot is like, continuous Smirch Plan B. James Bond is back with his morals, his image, his celibate image. We must destroy that image.
Mhm.
So maybe this is the most Sigma male Bond we've ever seen.
I was going to say that
David
because,
Niven, Sigma male.
like, and you know what was really confusing for me, right? Because obviously I've never seen this film, but I'm aware of its existence, obviously. And I always kind of forget in my head if David Niven or Peter Sellers is Bond. So I was watching it, and these are two like refined English actors, especially David Niven, like a real like cinema like classic like English gentleman actor, and and Peter Sellers as well. So you've got David Niven and Peter, and they're both in my head, and I couldn't remember which one was in this film. And then I'm watching the credits, and they're both in it. And I'm like, well, so which one of them is Bond? And then they're both Bond. And then
Yeah,
like,
but that's the
everyone's
whole
Bond.
thing.
Yeah.
Everyone's Bond.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
like,
like,
they're just
okay,
like,
Why, like, when you ask me who's Bond,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah.
like,
yeah.
Well, there's the
Which
guy
which
who
one's
actually.
Bond?
I mean, there's the guy who actually plays Baccarat as was in the original Casino Royale book, which they ditched for Casino Royale, the one that everyone knows. But yeah, so they're playing that, and I mean, this is also relatively well-known thing about this film. Him and Orson Welles hated
they
each other
hate
so
each
much. Yeah, and mainly it was mainly an Orson Welles problem, but
Who, David
actually,
Niven?
yeah,
Peter Sellers.
no,
Oh,
Peter
right.
Sellers. Peter Sellers was apparently really obnoxious to work with, and Orson Welles hated him so much because I think he thought he should have been James Bond or something. So they couldn't be on set, like they couldn't even be on the same set, like at the same time. So, or maybe even on the same day. So they had to film Orson Welles scenes of him at the casino table,
Wow.
but without Peter Sellers, and then vice versa for Peter Sellers. So like they're meant to be facing each other.
What
Like
did they
it's
do? Did they bang each other's wives or something?
I don't know, man.
One other thing is that like Orson Welles actually refused to do like Le Chiffre or the whole poker scene unless he got to do a magic trick because he was also like a
Yeah.
slight artist.
Yeah, I was like, what's this got to do with Le Chiffre? Imagine if like Mads Mikkelsen started like pulling like rainbow flags out of his sleeve, you know?
In the middle of the poker scene as well, like he wouldn't have it any other way, so he just randomly does his silly little like tricks and stuff in the middle.
Well, you know, that's a classic Bond villain staple, you know. They pull out, a rabbit out of a hat or something, you know.
Pull like flags out their sleeves, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, also
I really couldn't believe like what was happening with this film, man. I mean, there's got so many like famous actors in this film as well. Like the casting is like incredible. You've got like I said, Orson Welles, Peter Sellers, David Niven, Ursula. You got like
and Kronstein. His career was taking off after from.
But you had lots of like big names, and do you know what? The one good thing about this film is it was great to see David Niven act. He's like I don't get. He's in like the worst film ever made, but he's still.
Yeah, it's like Arnold.
He's still like
you go to watch him in like
David Niven as Bond, and he is older and everything, but like I did enjoy watching him. Just as a cinema education more than anything else. So, okay, this is David Niven in his element, and I suppose he was quite good because he's playing very like stone faced, like I say, Sigma male, while all this shit is happening around him, and he is like handling it in the most British way possible. So he's very good, to be fair.
Would you say it's a bit like when you watch Batman and Robin? At least you've got Arnold there, like to see like.
No,
not to the same degree.
No, I don't know. I can't really compare this to Batman and Robin. They're two completely different films.
They're
both
shit.
Like,
terrible films, but still.
Yeah, they're both shit. I would, but yeah, you could say like I don't know, man. You know what this reminded me of as well, for obvious reasons, Batman 66. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Like the action scenes, the fight scenes in particular.
Yeah.
I think you even have moments where it's like pow or something like that. You have like text on
that's
screen.
at the
Like,
end, yeah.
yeah.
I mean,
it literally looked like something out of 60s Batman, but that is something which is very camp, very like aware of itself, and like just mocking this. And yeah, okay, this is a parody as well. And yeah, it was funny hearing like the references to Sean Connery. It's like, oh, my namesake, you know, shagging all over the world, whatever. He's like leaving trailers.
And then
they're now spies synonymous with sex maniac, you know.
Yeah,
I like
yeah,
how
yeah.
he like references. Oh, where's he gone? And he's like, we think he's doing TV now, and it's like, oh.
And this is only after Thunderball.
After,
what did they,
I'd
like,
understand if they
like,
did this after You Only Live Twice, but like, you know.
No, this was released. They only had.
I said I'd understand if they did it.
Oh
after,
yeah,
because that was a little bit ridiculous.
Oh
yeah.
But as well, you've got you know, and then this obviously didn't sway anyone because this film came out, and then they just did Roger Moore stuff anyway. So you know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be fair, this film is apparently partially responsible for You Only Live Twice, like not doing so well, even though it literally made like a lot of money regardless.
Mm-hmm.
But it hurt the Bond franchise quite a bit, I think, apparently, because like there have been so many like copycats, parodies, and then this was like the cherry on the cake. It's like it's like, you know, if you got the entirety of Hollywood to make a Bond parody now, you know, like
what I will say, this is a Bond parody. I mean, there are lots of Bond parodies. The most famous one's probably Johnny English, The Naked Gun. Obviously, what's his name?
Man from
Austin Powers.
Austin Powers. This
It's
is on probably on par with Austin Powers in terms of humor. I think they're both like equally shit. You know, they're both like just stupid films.
I think,
Just
I think occasionally they do pull something like minorly amusing in this.
in
but
this or in Austin Powers.
In this,
I don't know. I think they're both like pretty same level, kind of just.
I think,
you know what? Actually, the only thing that made me make this better than Austin Powers is just because it's got
David Niven.
David Niven, you know, like
that certainly helps.
Woody Allen as well. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's just here casually.
I did like the twist, to be fair. Like, it's like not Doctor No.
Doctor No.
Yeah, Doctor No.
Yeah,
and then it turns out to be his nephew Jimmy Bond, who we see. That was probably the funniest part of the film, to be fair, with Woody Allen, where he's like in the firing squad and then explaining, you know.
Yeah,
that was
my
quite
doctor
good.
said I can't have bullets sent to my body at any time.
What'd you say?
Yeah, doctor said I can't have bullets sent to my body at any time. You know, very low tolerance of death.
Yeah, and you have this guy at the end, and he's like, his whole evil villain plan is, it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna kill everyone that isn't a beautiful woman and a man taller than me, basically. You know, he's gonna kill like everyone. It's like, oh wow, it's like, I don't know. It was quite.
I don't know. Well, yeah, I guess he's literally like the archetypal beta male up there. Then you know, Anyway, like, you know, he's literally like the I don't know, like the nerd for Bond to push over in this case. But
he gets bullied by the person he's holding captive at the end as well.
Yeah.
There's so many weird like exercise moments going on as well. Like at the beginning, David Niven's doing some weird like chair like. I don't know. And then and then there's a bit with Peter Sellers like dressed up as Hitler. Like what what is going on?
That's not the only time you see Hitler in Q's lab. Like randomly, there's like there are a bunch from like taking notes, and there's a picture of Hitler on the wall.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, if I'm being honest, right, the kind of the hour in the middle after there's like kind of the International Mothers Help in Berlin bit, and kind of the before they start playing Baccarat. I think that's like all right. Like it's not good, but it's like watchable kind of.
What particular? What are you referring to?
Maybe when she's stealing the
stealing all those stealing the things from the auction and shit. Because like I think the bit that kind of like I like the most.
No, you're joking. There's like a whole like tripping out scene where she's like hallucinating and like weird. Right? Or
you're getting mixed up with the Chief's torture.
Oh yeah, I am. Sorry, yeah, you're right.
Because like there's the bit where what was it?
There's a car chase with like an E-type Jag, which is amazing. But it's just the most ridiculous music ever and shit green screen as well. So
yeah, that was horrible green screen.
I don't know. Yeah, they can go and say, oh, it's a parody, it's a comedy, but you know, come on, man.
Yeah, like David Niven's
that's being generous. I feel like, okay, that's a parody of Doctor No then, but yeah.
Maybe it is, but anyway, like What was the thing? Yeah, it's when they're doing the auction, which is kind of like I don't know. But then after I forgot what his name, the representative of Lashith, aka Kronstein, where he goes to like the telephone booth by like by the Berlin Wall, and he's like, "Oh, what's gonna happen to me then?" He's like, "Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to win money by playing baccarat because I'm a compulsive gambler." And then he blows up the telephone box, and
Yeah.
off a hole in the Berlin Wall, and starts rushing out. Like there are very occasional bits like that where it's actually funny, but
I think like
And was unexpected as well, to be fair. But you've got like, I want to talk about Moneypenny for a moment.
oh yeah,
Now-
Moneypenny Jr.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And you've got actually like throughout this film, you've got so many like incest references. There's a bit where Bond meets his daughter, David Niven. It's like, oh, if you weren't my dad, we could, get it on. Like, well, and he's
And yeah, he's just like, what the fuck?
But Moneypenny, right? When she's introduced, and then it's Moneypenny's daughter, and then she goes and like, there's like a line of men like waiting for her, and she's like going and like kissing all of them, like Frenching all of them. Like in a row, like, what is going on? What is going on? And then they recruit a Bond. It is quite funny, to be fair, because they pick out one Bond and they're like training him to like repel women, basically like the advances of a woman. I don't know, like there is something like there is a lot of like good satirical humor here, to be fair, but it's just executed in such like it's just so all over the place. There is potential here. Like if you did like just give one director all the footage, and then I don't know what could save this film, but there is something here that could work.
I think maybe this might have been a bit funnier for audiences back then because humor has changed quite a bit since. But
I disagree. Actually, I think. Can you imagine being one of those who actually thought this was going to be a legit Bond film, and you just walk in and it's just that on screen?
Well, that's basically what happened to me almost, because I was watching this and I wasn't aware it was a comedy or a parody. I was watching it and I was like, okay, and then I realised quite quickly, like when they're in Scotland throwing the stones and stuff, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is just a bad joke, basically.
That bit in Scotland was like pain.
Individual jokes like kind of don't work sometimes, but like I think like maybe certain situations are quite like humorous in this, at least. Like when they lure him to Scotland just to break his celibacy. That's quite funny, but like the way it is executed is a bit.
And you've got like
bizarre.
during the car chase with the E-Type Jag, Bond's like car from the 1920s,
bang bang,
and a milk float, and then you've got like Smirch watching it all happen on like some Hot Wheels like live circuit. Like what's going on there? And then as well you've got like maybe? I don't know. Do you know what was cool in this film though? They basically had some really like unintentionally had some like great technology, like a genuine gadget, which the watch with the FaceTime on it, basically. That's really ahead of its time.
Yeah.
When you actually consider that's fair play, because and if that happened in a sci-fi film, say that happened in 2001: A Space Odyssey or Blade Runner, everyone would be going, "Wow, that was like so ahead of its time!" Like that's like, how did they predict that? And I'm not giving this film like that much credit. Like, so, I mean, it's a bit blasphemous to even mention it, like Blade Runner or 2001 in this context, but I did want to single that out as a moment. I was like, okay, that was fair. That was actually a Q gadget, which was like, wow, unintentionally.
Oh, tell you what, I think probably one of the dumbest parts of this film is after they get out of the casino, right, and Vesper is kidnapped. Like he's meant to have a chase in his Lotus, right?
Yeah.
But then it just and I forgot this happened because I remember I think they either filmed something or they forgot to. He drives off and then immediately he's in a torture scene with Lashif, which is fucking terrible, by the way.
And he makes the worst. He gets in his car and he says like some like terrible one-liner, which doesn't make sense.
Yes, Lashif thinks he's got a faster car than me, but I'm faster than my Lotus Formula 3, and then looks at the camera and then drives.
Yeah. And I'm like, all right, mate. Well, like, what is going on?
I'm glad they shot it.
The thing I'm gonna most enjoy about this film is like one day eventually when we get to the other Casino Royale, I'm just gonna compare it to this.
And you've got like, there's a bit where actually there's a funny guy in this, the cabbie. Right. She gets in the taxi and she goes, where are we going? Berlin. East or west? West. Oh, that's all right then, you know. And then like a minute they're in Berlin, and then he's like, oh, you know,
That'll be £463 or
yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah, that's right. And he goes up to, oh, is there any, is there a chip here, mush, you know, whatever. And then like, I don't know. And then he turns out to be an agent. It's like, you know, there's a little bit going on there.
Yeah, I love it. I love the thing as well, like how comically like it was represented as well. Like they drive from like West
Yeah.
Berlin to East, and it just immediately like the music stops. It's all like red, like and like you know like depressing as shit, like intentionally. It's like anyway.
You have Miss Good Thighs as well. I think
Yeah,
that's
that's
worth
it.
mentioning. You have like the auction scene, and you have like Little Ronnie like in this film as well. I mean, it's not Little Ronnie, but it's like basically might as well be. And he's like lusting for.
Yeah, he's a
I can't
robot
remember
as
who.
well.
Like, I'm so lost. There's like a whole like dancing class thing
Yeah,
with
he's
Bond's
after
daughter as well. Like, I don't know. And Le Chiffre himself, man, Orson Welles, obviously like star of Citizen Kane. Why like soil your CV with a film like this? You know, that's just what I wonder. This is like Mourinho going to Tottenham. Why did you do it? You like, what is your like ego really that? I don't know, all the money, or I don't know. Just like, why would you? Why would you have this like? Oh yeah, that's the other thing I want to say about Peter Sellers and David Niven. I want to say this at the beginning because I was trying to remember which of them was in this film. Turns out it's both. I was trying to which of them is Bond because I remember both of them being Pink Panther, but I only remembered one of them being Pink Panther. I was thinking, okay, I was looking at David Niven at the beginning of the film. I was like, yeah, he was the Pink Panther, and then I see Peter Sellers. I'm like, he was Pink Panther. What? So then I look him up, and they were both Pink Panther as well, like in the same fucking. So I'm like extremely confused while watching the most confusing film of all time as well. I'm like, which of these was Pink Panther? They both were. Like, what the fuck? Like, what is actually happening? What they couldn't. How? What is going on?
I mean, it really blew my mind, honestly. Like,
We
I
got
mean,
to hear Ursula Andress's real voice, which is basically the same as her dubbed one. So what was the point now? Unless she learned English really quick in 3 years, which could have happened, but I don't know.
I don't know. I thought she was all right in this film.
Yeah, she was okay. I mean, she didn't like draw attention to herself for the wrong reasons, if you know what I mean.
No, I like the.
Very right.
I really like the bit where like she's on the phone to Bond outside. You know, Peter Sellers' Bond, and like she's got like the video camera of him as well. She's like, oh yeah, just give me a minute, and like she's like just dumping a corpse in like the basement or something.
Oh
It's like, oh
yeah.
yeah, remember to empty like
Empty the deep
freezer
fridge
morning,
by
you know?
Monday morning.
Yeah, and then she was like, sorry, I was just seeing someone off, you know, like yeah, come in.
There,
Like,
there are a couple of funny lines in this, I think. Like,
Yeah.
I got a couple that I made notes of. It was like when David Niver makes like a Lennon reference when there's like the KBG head guy there, and he's like, "Oh yeah, your Lennon guy's like first class organizer, second class mind," and then that was it. And then later he's like, "Oh yeah," they say he's doing TV now about the other James Bond.
Yeah.
And then oh yeah, there's another one. Oh yeah, this is so funny when they go to through some random airport security. Peter Sellers is there. It's like, "Welcome to France, Mr. Bond," and he just gets punched.
yeah,
which is
that's
quite
right,
funny.
yeah.
beats of a
There's a
customer.
bit where Peter Sellers doesn't. He's at the poker table and he's doing an Indian accent as well.
Yeah, and a
Oh,
Chinese.
yeah. Oh yeah.
What the fuck?
I don't know what he was talking about there. It's like
He was doing an Indian accent, right?
I don't know, but I don't know why he was like doing
No,
it. Like what he was
I
talking
don't
about.
know.
It's like it's like this. I don't even know, man. Like
yeah.
And there's like, there's kind of I don't know if you call this a Sigma quote, but it was like when David Niven goes and he's about to meet like his nephew or whatever, even though he doesn't know it. He's like, "Why don't you come out and face me?" And then he's like, "Because you're going to come in and face me." And then it's like, that's quite.
You do have like Le Chiffre, Bane before Bane. You know, he's like, "You going to torture me?" It's like,
Yeah.
not of your body, of your soul.
yeah, exactly. But like
the mind, Mr.
I mean,
Wayne.
we've talked about just about like most of the stuff that's happened in this film, apart from like the very end where it's like this is where like the
Funny how,
That's when it just goes
everything-
complete shit, man.
No,
you
but
know,
this is where the
like-
wheels fall off. You got this UFO that drops
Wheels
down in
snap.
London. I think it kidnaps someone at some point. There's another UFO that flies out of it, goes back to Casino Royale or something, and he's got to save someone.
And
And
what's
then-
really weird is like, there's like an office back behind like the whole poker room that was there all the time, and then it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's how we get to it, and it's like, Okay.
And then at the very end, you just have like they look out the window of like the casino, and then it's like the man with no name trilogy, the good, the bad, and the ugly, like the deserts, man. And then you have like just cowboys come and storm through the door, and it's just like,
literally.
And it
well,
goes,
at this point, you're like, why not? Why not, man? Why not? Let's just have the jockstrap cowboys enter. Like, why
let's
not,
just
man?
have
you
like
had-
black and white police show up as well at one point, and cherry whatever Indians show up.
Oh,
as well.
and then at the end, the whole place blows up, and then like they all
Everyone
go to
dies.
heaven, and then Jimmy Bond like goes to hell. You know,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like,
No, but that's the thing. You had the West, Wild West Americans turn up. You had Native Americans turn up. You had no, there weren't ninjas in that. That was the wrong film. You had the French. Yeah, the French have arrived, and then you
Yeah.
also had the British police in black and white arriving, and you also had a monkey and also a seal,
yeah.
which is also 007, and you had the flying roulette table, which was shooting everyone.
there's a bit as well where David Niven he goes to some like temple, and then there's like a whole sequence of him watching his daughter like dancing. Like, what is going on? Like,
I don't
what
know.
is going on?
And
And then they have some like poppy CT. It's like this will get you stoned as fuck, mate. You know.
it's so like when we first saw this, like I was watching it with Henry, and then like when after she finished the dance, he was like, "Yeah, can you imagine if it was the postman who showed up or something?" And then yeah,
And you have
Yeah.
you have Q as well. Yeah. Oh, the
I
James
think-
Bond training center, and you have Q with his buddy like Four Eyes,
Yeah.
who's the one without glasses. So you know, I don't know. I think I've pretty much.
Yeah, well, I think this is basically most of what's happened in the film.
Like, Pete Sellers wears a stripy onesie as well. He's working out in that. It's just really weird.
I really think this film can only be enjoyed if you're like on some powerful shit. Like,
Oh,
that's
hang on. You have this as well. You have the in Scotland when he uses his braces as a slingshot for the metal button. Yeah, man. They did have drones though. I suppose that was quite ahead of
yeah,
its time.
true. I mean, I don't know if either of you want to talk about this much more. Like, I don't know.
There was I do want to say there was a quite funny bit where he gets in the bath with the daughter, one of the daughters,
Oh,
and he turns the water to cold. He's like, like that. That was quite
Yeah,
funny.
yeah.
There's
like
so
that.
many awkward moments in this film as well when he just walks in and she's like, "I used to do this for Daddy all the time." And it's like he
Oh,
called me
yeah,
his
man.
little
Yeah, it's
thermometer.
a different person in Whitehall, and it's like great.
Well, Scotland, isn't it? So
And then it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah, true. It's like
your he's like, your mother did some of her best work at night. And it's like,
nice.
yeah, and one last thing, David Niven, he had like some stutter at the beginning as well. I don't really know.
Yeah,
what
Oh, that's
I'm
because
so
he's
glad
like-
he got rid of it though.
he's meant to
But
be.
why?
He's meant to be like a parody. He's meant to be like the complete opposite of Sean Connery's Bond. So like, he's meant to be like completely like virtuous, like not be like and like he stammers as well because he's like in retirement or something. And then he's like, "Good, I don't have time for that anymore." When he's back on the job or whatever, which is yeah.
Maybe it's a different director who just decides to tell him like just stop stammering, and I think that helps. If he was stammering for the whole film, I'd have fucking like
Oh,
nothing to talk about. So I'm glad because like his character was just about fine for what it was, I think. So like I think I kind of like the fact that Bond like basically takes the role as M as well in this.
Yeah,
That's
That's kind of an
and you have the
interesting dynamic.
poshest guy ever as well. Like
Yeah.
that guy's accent. It was like, oh, I couldn't even like the royal family doesn't talk like that. You know, like he had the most poshest voice I've ever heard, man.
You, Mata Hari and your other agents who are in South
Yeah.
America, sir.
Yeah,
And like, I don't know how they got all these people like onto that film, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna do a shit show.
And,
think I know how
David's
they
wearing
got
like a
that.
turban at the beginning as well. I just really don't know what's going. I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done.
I-
Like
you know-
we can like move on. If you got say what you got to say, I'm really. We can do the. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do, Tom.
We
Unless
do have a token quiz today.
any last words, Tom?
I don't know, like I might. I don't know if
Oh.
I'll watch this film again.
Fuck if I will, man.
Well,
This is. I do think this is possibly the worst. Like, I'm gonna get my IMDb up and just like rattle off a list of like the worst films I've ever seen because this is among them. I gave this 2 out of 10, and I gave it 2 because it's a comedy. So I'm giving it like slack for being a parody, but still fucking
It's
what a
not-
waste of time. Why is it 2 hours and 10 minutes
a
long?
waste of talent as well. This could have been
Yeah,
this
yeah.
could have been like a good parody actually, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Like they shot the writer or something. Like,
I don't know. Okay, so the worst films I've ever seen: Dodgeball. Oh, Dodgeball's bad, man. Braveheart, Terminator Salvation, The Purge, The Wicker Man, the one with Nick Cage in it. Oh God, that's oh. Yeah, Batman and Robin, Catwoman, Casino Royale, V for Vendetta.
Really? You think that's about?
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Whatever.
I'll read out the ones I've got rated 3 as well. Star Trek Into Darkness, Minority Report, Thor: The Dark World, The Hangover, David Brent, Life on the Road. That was so disappointing. That maybe doesn't even deserve 3 stars. And Jigsaw. So
nice
yeah,
to know.
The worst film.
those are the worst films I've ever seen.
The worst film. Well, officially the lowest rated film I've ever seen that I know about is much lower rated than even this one on IMDb. It's like one of the worst rated films of all time. And it's called 300 Meet the Spartans, and it's so terrible. It got like.
But was that your rating? Was that just like the IMDb
That's
rating?
the general rating.
Yeah, but you can't go by that. Like, there's a comedy called.
It was like a Smosh video, but like as a film, and it's.
How long was it?
About 2 hours. And the thing is, credits made up like most of it as well. Like it was like an overly long.
I don't know. There's a film which I watched called The Wash, and it's got Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre in it, right? And it's got like a really like one of the worst ratings on IMDb, but it's actually like really funny. I don't know. It's just like, yeah, it's shit, but it's funny because it's like they're not taking it. It's Snoop Dogg and Dr. Dre. What do you expect? And they are funny in it. And I actually enjoyed that film. This is like overall a 5-star rating on IMDb, and yeah, I gave it 2. Yeah. Just I don't know, man. I mean, it's so bad. I don't want to waste more time talking about it. And you know, this is going to be like half hour, 40 minute video, and that's it.
Well, to cap off your wonderful viewing experience, and for the audience as well, who has unfortunately had the displeasure of seeing this film, I still managed to collect 7 questions for you, which meant I had to see it again. So
this doesn't go towards the overall score, right? This is
of course. This is just for funs, for
shits
giggle.
and giggles.
Yeah, exactly. So, question 1, Tom and James.
And what is the current score? It's 4-1, right? I won my first one.
Yeah, it's 4-1. You won. You only lived twice. But anyway, so how large do you think the budget was for this film? And I can give you a hint that will blow your mind.
What?
Yeah, it must have been. I think it was
bigger than
budget.
any Bond film previously.
Yeah, this must have had a big budget. They had so many big names. They had so much like stunts and like visual effects and all this. I'm gonna say
and a UFO as well. So
yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, props. They had so much going on. This is like high budget. It's a high out and fire. That many directors.
$50 million, maybe.
I'm gonna go. I reckon they threw a lot of money at this. They wasted a lot of money on this. I reckon
it made a profit, you know.
Yeah, it
did.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, 20 plus. I mean, yeah, 20 million. 20 million.
Tom, what did you say?
I said 15 million.
Well, that goes to Tom. It was 12 million, the budget.
12? Yeah. You said it would blow my mind.
No, but it blows your mind that it's actually more than any previous Bond film, even You Only Live Twice.
Yeah, they had.
What was You Only Live Twice again? 11.
9.5.
They're like they gave all the other Bond films peanuts in comparison. It's like, yeah.
Well, to be fair, a lot of the. Well, I mean, if you adjust it to today's money, it's still quite a lot for those ones. Anyway, now the next question is how large do you think the box office was for this?
I'll go 50.
I think it was 25 million, maybe.
Need to figure out which one of you is actually closer.
Well, what's the answer?
41.7.
Well, obviously me.
Yeah, you. Don't worry. I don't know why. I just had like like this brain. This film was.
How did that make $41 million, man? Like, that's.
Well, it's still not much, so that's.
That's 370 million in today's money. I'll give you that.
I don't know how it even broke even, man. That's a lot of money to do.
Well, still. Anyway, now third question is let's get through these relatively quickly.
Mm-hmm.
How many agents did M say that he lost?
14.
Well, was it? I don't know. I'll say 20. I have no clue.
James, you're right. That was it was It was 11, but you got closer. So
Okay. Great.
many-
I'm winning the one which doesn't count. Brilliant.
How many daughters are in the McTarry Castle?
11.
I think James said that first. But what was the age range of them?
17 to
17,
19.
19.
Pretty sure it's 16 to 19. But that was so. To be fair, I mean, you both said that at the same time, regardless, and it's the same answer. So, but also James said the first one first, so I have to give it to him.
Yeah,
Yeah, so great.
Neat
Anyway.
this win, man. Wow. Look at me lifting my trophy.
Fourth question. No, sorry, fifth question. How many nationalities were present at the auction of Le Chiffre's,
3. No, 4.
Yeah, it was France, Russia,
No,
England,
it's Russia,
and US.
America, England, and China.
Oh, China. Okay.
Yeah, well, that one goes to Tom. So, it's 3-2, you got your blood pumping.
Wow. Edge of my seat, man.
Yeah, exactly. How much was at stake at the end of the Baccarat game?
100 million.
How much was at stake?
Yeah, how much did they basically say, the bank had, that they put on the table?
What did you say, 100 million?
I said 100 million.
I remember the stake was 100 grand, so don't know. 100 million. I'll go 20 million.
Well, they said to Bond. Well, they said the bank. I'm pretty sure they're referring to Peter Sellers' Bond, but it was 50 million. So.
Oh,
I guess
okay.
It's in the
Yay!
credits.
Wow. I
But
won the
I'm not sure if
Casino
that
Royale
means
quiz,
that
man.
they both have 50 million, so it would be 100. Sorry, I don't know the rules of Baccarat.
Oh.
So.
Well,
You
got
know,
a
what,
tiebreaker?
Tom. Yeah. Well, we'll have to see if even if Tom
let's
would have gotten that, we'll have to see what the last one is. Now, how many explosions had to go off in Jimmy Bond before he became a nuclear bomb?
Oh, 400.
Yeah.
There you go, Tom. So James has very narrowly won the Casino Royale one. Hope
Wow.
you're happy.
Yeah, that's great, man. Well, listen, at the
Potentially.
end of the day, it's a back-to-back victory. So
Yeah.
gonna
Well,
build
it
that.
also might be
You can,
because I don't
I'm
understand how
happy
Baccarat
to
the
waste
stakes
what would
work.
be
So
an otherwise victory on this one.
yeah. Well, what can you say? I guess you're rather happy about that. Anyone who was playing along,
Yeah,
you can
give yourselves a pat on the back.
Yeah, exactly. And also know that I had to see this more than twice.
Yeah, you guys are the real suckers, man. You watch this twice, mind you.
No, I had to see it. I had to scroll through the whole thing again to get this stuff.
I think yeah, okay. Well, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank God that's over.
Oh yeah, we're not ranking this because it'll.
No, we're not, because it'll end up bottoming everything. So we could rank the Sigma moment, because I think David Niven's Bond is Sigma, man. I think let's do it. Let's do it. And we can rank the film as well. Let's just put it bottom, because then we can rank it against
the others.
Never Say Never Again, yeah.
And yeah.
No, because we did predictions, remember? So
but it doesn't count. It's just these are just for fun, man. All right, so we're gonna rank the Sigma moment and the film. So the Sigma moment, we have number 1, Goldfinger, I Own the Club. Number 2, Red Grant. Number 3, Blofeld's Extortion. Number 4, Dr. No. Number 5, For King and Country. This is all about schmush as well, we should add. So, this film. So yeah, where are we going to put David Niven's Bond? I think he is very Sigma, man.
Yeah, I mean, by definition, he's a Sigma male, basically.
Yeah. So where do we put him then? I mean, we have Red Grant.
Would he go above For King and Country because he's shagged, so. Oh
yeah. So you're putting him below Dr. No, though. I think he's more of a Sigma than Dr. No, man.
I think below Dr. No.
No, but Dr. No doesn't employ women, so.
Yeah, he does.
Does he?
Yeah, the receptionists.
Yeah, but he's never seen in this presence of a woman except when he sends her out, because it says it's not the one.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, I don't know. David Niven goes out of his way to avoid any. Although
he does kiss Moneypenny
Jr.
Yeah,
but
your mother did some of her best work.
All right, I suppose this is.
All right, so it goes below Dr. No, David Niven in general.
David Niven, fuck's sake. All right, and then the film itself: number 1, Goldfinger. Number 2, You Only Live Twice. Number 3, Dr. No. Number 4, From Russia with Love. Number 5, Thunderball. Number 6, Casino Royale.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be much protest about that. So hopefully this will we won't have anything to put below this. So
I don't know, man. I'd love to say that, but man.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about.
I know.
No, this is probably the worst film.
No, I think there's some films that I dread seeing again on this playlist.
Yeah, same.
And at least that was a guilty pleasure, and it's I don't know. It's
I think you use the word guilty pleasure.
It's like a train wreck. You can't take your eyes off.
So Henry, you're saying this is not as bad as Spectre?
I don't know what you're talking about, James. I love Spectre. So
Spectre's a better film than this.
We'll have to get into that. we'll get to that eventually in 5 months' time or something.
Okay, well, anyway, we'll wrap that up for today. So thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed this episode. We'll be back next week with one of the best films, one of the best Bond films of all time, but really one of the really an exceptional film for its day. And yeah, it's on Her Majesty's Secret Service. George Lazenby.
We are.
We're going from probably your least favorite Henry to your favorite. Yeah.
And you're in good company, Henry, because you know who else is his favorite Bond film? And I think on Her Majesty's Secret Service is in this guy's top 10 films of all time.
Who is this?
Christopher Nolan. So you're in good company there.
Thanks.
So yeah, until then, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back. So yeah, see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.